After a man was killed in a hit and run in North Spokane, his family is speaking out. Tonight, how they plan to honor his memory and his community.
Today brought the sunshine and the 70s, but tomorrow could bring the 80s. What I'm tracking tonight.
Plus, the 18 Americans exposed to hantavirus on a cruise ship in the Atlantic Ocean returned home today. Hear from health officials about their quarantine and why they say Americans are not at risk. That's tonight on your Night Report. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the Night Report here on KREM 2 News. I'm Sydney Schofield. Coeur d'Alene police are looking for two runaway boys tonight. They think they could be headed for Los Angeles. 15-year-old Elijah James Berner and 15-year-old Michael Robert McGee reportedly ran away earlier today. Police say Berner's parents said that they believe the pair left on bicycles. They may also be in the Spokane area. If you do see them, you're asked to reach out to the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. Tonight, the family of a pedestrian killed in a hit and run in North Spokane plans to hold a community fundraiser to honor his memory and plan his funeral. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy joins us now in the newsroom just after hearing from his family. Connor?
Yeah, well, Justin Labree's sister Heather says he was a wonderful brother and will be deeply missed. Right now, Heather says her family is planning a community fundraiser to try and help her and others close to Justin. He was struck by a car in North Spokane near Division and Crown Avenue on April 27th. Now, the Spokane Medical Examiner released more information on Justin's death. He spent a week at Sacred Heart Medical Center before he died from blunt force injuries on May 4th. The death has been ruled as accidental, and Spokane police have made no arrests in this case as of tonight. Justin's sister Heather says family and friends have continued trying to honor his memory. Over the weekend, a vigil was organized at Franklin Park to remember Justin's untimely death. Heather and other loved ones also will be holding a community fundraiser dinner. Heather says it's to help the family during this difficult time as they plan to budget funeral expenses in the coming weeks as everyone's still processing the loss.
This was an unexpected death, so all of our money is tight and we can't afford to give him the proper burial without, the community's help. Me and him have grown up our whole lives together. And so to learn this last week since he died, how to cope with life without being able to just call him and talk to him has not been the easiest.
That fundraiser is on May 23rd from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Cornerstone North Church. It's an Indian taco sale. One taco is $15 and two are for $20. Now, she hopes folks make their way out to honor Justin as the investigation into this continues. Anyone with information about this situation is encouraged to call Crime Check. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Connor, thank you. Today, a man accused of allegedly shooting and killing another man at State Line Speedway over the weekend faced a Kootenai County judge for the first time. The shooting happened Saturday night at the State Line Speedway. Prosecutors charged Edsel Robert Johnson with first-degree murder. He also faces reckless driving and battery charges. Today, a judge confirmed the person who died in the shooting was Bradley Rex.
That you made an extremely fatal and critical decision that day. And as a result of that decision, a member of our community here lost his life. His family lost a father, a brother.
Court documents state during a lantern festival, Johnson was driving northbound in the southbound lane on Beck's Road. They say Rex refused to move out of the way of Johnson's vehicle. When Johnson tried to drive past Rex, he hit the vehicle with a chair. Johnson then exited the vehicle and the two started fighting. Shortly after, Johnson allegedly pulled out a firearm and shot Rex. A preliminary trial will be scheduled in 14 days for Johnson. Let's take a break from the headlines and head to our outdoor weather center right now, where meteorologist Cody Proctor is standing by. And Cody, we had a really nice day today, but it's going to be warmer tomorrow.
Yeah, we could be warming up in a big way, Sydney, from what I'm tracking right now. But let's talk about what we're seeing this evening so far for our current temperatures. In the moment, we're in the low 60s right now over at the Spokane Airport. The winds have been pretty calm for us. And as we check in with our temperatures around the region, most of them have been in those 60s. But it looks like now Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint are in those 50s at the moment. So a bit cooler this evening, but no surprise, it is the nighttime. As we check in with our satellite and radar map, you can see it's been really quiet for us, and we saw beautiful clear skies. Wouldn't be surprised if our temperatures drop down and maybe a little more this as we head into our tomorrow morning just because we don't have that cloud coverage to keep that heat in. However, as we get you ready for your Tuesday, we look to start things off potentially into the mid 40s and then gradually by 10 a.m. could already be in the mid 60s for our forecast for tomorrow. And as for our forecasted highs, we're looking to be in the low 80s potentially for tomorrow. To put this in perspective, our seasonal average is 66 degrees. This is well above what we're expecting or what we would see for our seasonal average. After that, those temperatures look to drop, and we could also see some chances for some more active weather moving into our region. I'll break down what's behind that coming up in your full forecast.
A first grade teacher at St. John Elementary School appeared in court today after her arrest yesterday. 25-year-old Mackenzie Knott is facing charges of sexual misconduct with a minor. The victim is a 16-year-old junior at St. John Endicott High School. According to court documents, Knott's husband reported her to police, leading to her arrest yesterday after she reportedly admitted to sexually assaulting the victim, both to her husband and to a close friend. The school district said in a statement that they were aware of allegations involving a district employee and that employee has been placed on leave. A Whitman County judge issued a restraining order, meaning Knott is prohibited from returning to work, at least until her arraignment hearing, which right now is scheduled for Friday. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of Idaho announced today a Moscow man was sentenced to more than 17 years in prison for possession of child pornography. Officials say 40-year-old Devin Terrence Pickler had hundreds of child sex abuse files on online groups and posted messages stating his desire to commit sexual offenses against children. He even talked about trying to grope children at a street fair, but said parents were watching their kids too closely. While executing a search warrant at his home, law enforcement seized multiple ceramic figurines of children in erotic poses, along with a child-sized sex doll. A crash involving a Rathdrum police officer sent 2 people to the hospital over the weekend. The crash happened in the afternoon while the officer was responding to a call. According to our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, both the driver of the car and the officer were transported to Kootenai Health by ambulance. The officer was treated and released, but the condition of the other driver remains unclear tonight. Idaho State Police are investigating this crash. The person who stabbed a 19-year-old University of Washington student to death is still on the run tonight. It happened at the Nordheim Court Apartments near the U Village. Natalie Swaby from our Seattle sister station brings us the latest tonight on the investigation.
Detectives are reviewing surveillance footage and working to track down the suspect who stabbed and killed the 19-year-old student across the street at the Nordheim Court Apartments. It's a crime that's shaken the UW community tonight. At this off-campus student housing complex.
Just to see security here at all is just, it's very out of the ordinary.
University of Washington students face a heavy and unsettling day.
I just feel really bad for her friends and family, and that's scary.
I mean, it's really strange.
Here, they say everything shifted in an instant, just after 10 o'clock last night.
And I got the UW text, and then I started hearing from my roommates.
Police rushed in after someone stabbed a 19-year-old student to death inside the complex's laundry room, then fled.
Officers responded to this location and found an individual with serious injuries on the floor.
Now students are left searching for answers.
The laundry room back there is actually 2 layers of security. There's a fob you use to get into the room itself, and then to get into the entryway, it's a coded keypad.
Across campus, they're asking, how did this happen and why?
If they just pick some people randomly, I think it's really scared.
I just felt really sad, and this person seemed to be my age, and obviously they went to UW, so I thought I would pay respect by giving them flowers, and it's just really sad. It just shouldn't have happened at all.
The overnight crime scene has some rethinking safety.
I already try not to let people I don't know into my apartment building, but maybe I'll be more conscious of that next time and keeping windows closed and stuff.
It makes you not want to go outside alone at night anymore.
The medical examiner has not yet identified the 19-year-old victim. Anyone with information is urged to contact SPD's tip line at 206-233-5000. In Seattle, Natalie Swaby, King 5 News.
The man charged with shooting and critically injuring a toddler in the Olympic National Park pleaded not guilty today. 30-year-old Cole Marshall is charged with 2 counts of first-degree assault. The Mason County Sheriff's Office says the child was shot in the head near a remote campsite after an argument broke out between 2 groups. Marshall told deputies he fired to protect his mother, claiming a vehicle was driving at her. That child was inside. But investigators say evidence shows Marshall shot into the other vehicle multiple times as it was driving away, hitting the child. Marshall is due back in court on June 15th. There's a growing push by states, including Washington, to crack down on big corporate mergers. Attorney General Nick Brown joined others today calling for more state-level resources to fight monopolies, as they say federal antitrust enforcement is pulling back. They pointed to several high-profile cases, including Live Nation and Ticketmaster, the Kroger-Albertsons merger, and the Nexstar-Tegna deal, which affects local TV stations across the country, including KREM 2, which is owned by Tegna. They say these mergers could directly affect you with higher prices and fewer choices.
Without competition, these monopolies will be able to jack up prices on consumers as much as they want, hurting everyday Americans who are already struggling with an affordability crisis across the country.
Now, officials say antitrust cases are complex and take a lot of resources and money. As a rule of thumb, just one case can require about 20 attorneys and up to $20 million. Stay with us tonight. Still ahead, as gas prices remain high, lawmakers are looking to provide some relief for Americans. What you need to know in 5 minutes. Plus, how health professionals are planning to keep the public safe after the hantavirus exposed passengers returned home today, including one who tested positive. That's up next.